My name's Farina, and I own Farina Bakery. I grew up in Ohio, and we always ate food, oh man, in front of the TV, probably. Like we all had TVs in our room, and I ate a lot of microwavable meals and tuna noodle casseroles and a lot of takeout. So I would say that I grew up not being super food oriented at all, but I did love to bake. So I would always make cookies and treats for classmates, for birthdays. I worked as a bus girl when I was 14, when I started working in the food industry. So I would bring cakes and things to work, and pretty soon they let me do some of their pastry case at their restaurant, which was really fun. And so I was kind of obsessed with baking treats for people. But my childhood meals and things like that were nothing to write home about. I moved to Portland 9 years ago in November, and I followed my brother out here. He's been out here for 17 years, and I was working at Blvd, which is a bakery in the Pearl District, making macarons and being their graveyard baker. And after moving on from that, I worked for a short stint at a kind of restaurant, vegan bar called Parisian, which was lovely, but I really missed baking. And so I decided to start making macarons again on the side out of my apartment, and just started asking shops around town that I was a regular at, buying coffee if they wanted to sell macarons. And they did, which was great. And I learned a lot at Blvd. The most I probably have ever learned in a kitchen environment, and I always wanted to have a bakery since I was a little girl. So when I found a way in, which were the macarons, and people started saying yes to that, I was like, oh, I can just support myself doing this, and it started to make me money. And my friend Melissa is my bookkeeper, and she's been with me since the very beginning. And Melissa has told me since the very beginning, okay, if you need to pay your rent, you need to make this many macarons and sell this many macarons wholesale a week. And that was pretty indispensable and very important. And she helped me with things like quarterly taxes, or estimated quarterly taxes, and things that were not in my skill set, like payroll or any of that. So she's kind of been by my side the whole time, and I've, really, everything's really organized. It's because I've had Melissa by my side, and I've paid her to help me out. But she's done so much more than just my books. She's washed dishes, she's mopped floors, she's done a lot of things for here. She lives up the street. We both moved. I live across the street from the bakery, and she lives like 2 blocks that way, so it's like, this is our zone. My grandparents were entrepreneurs. They started their own businesses. My great-grandfather started his own business. He had a barber shop in Chicago. My brother started his own business when he was in his early 20s here in Portland. And my mom's side as well also kind of started their own businesses. So I think that I never had that scary feeling of like, I didn't think it was weird to do it. I just thought it was like, oh yeah, okay, I can just, this is it. I'm just gonna do my own business, great. And I never thought about the financial requirements of things, but I also did it on a sliding scale. So as I made more money, I could rent more space, or I could rent more time in kitchen crew, which is what I ended up doing I moved from my apartment to Kitchen Crew, which is a culinary incubator space in the Pearl District, and so I would rent space at night because it was a little bit cheaper, and use their storage space while I was gaining wholesale accounts. And so as I was gaining accounts, I was still renting somewhere else. There was less risk, but then when I outgrew the space, I was ready to get my own spot, and that's what we have here, which has been around for 4 years now. So I've chosen an industry, and most people choose it because they love it, and there's this huge romanticism about having a restaurant, having a bakery, and how special that is, and it is really special. But now that I am almost 30, I am finding that it's I needed to have this information earlier, because I could have been putting away $50 a month towards a savings account but I was, just trying to grow a business, not knowing how to financially be an adult. So I think there's money to be made. The passion is there. You can do it. You just have to be realistic with the starting point and working hard. And I didn't really have a lot of time off the first few years of running the bakery, and there were some months where I pulled more all-nighters than not all-nighters, and that's just the way I've done it. I'm sure there's different ways to do it, but I would have rather had the financial security of knowing there was money in my bank account and doing the work myself to make sure that I made it each month, so to say, and I could pay my bills. I didn't take any time off for years, but the second I got like a day off, I would just go straight into the woods. The Pacific Northwest has amazing treasures and waterfalls and green things and no self-service, and that has been like amazing. So what I do is I end my shift on Tuesday, and then I go camping in the middle of nowhere, up at Klickitat, wherever, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and then I drive back on Friday morning to do the delivery run. So I basically escaped for almost half the week, and that's been really great. And I've only been able to do that because of the women that work here and how hard they work, and they're very responsible and take everything very seriously, and that's really appreciated. I couldn't do it without them. I want to have fun when I come to work, and I hope that they feel the same way. I want them to have fun, but we also need to get a lot of things done as well, so it's just kind of a balance of that. But it's been really nice. There's a lot of laughter and fun things going on all the time, and I really appreciate that, and I look forward to coming to work, and I hope they do too. I've worked really hard to build this business, and sometimes I'll get comments that cut me down, like, oh, you own a bakery? That's so adorable. And adorable is not a word that I would use to describe what I've done at all. Like, I know the place is adorable, but the amount of work that I've put into this place is not adorable. It's badass, and most people fail when they build something from scratch. So to minimize it and look at me and say it's adorable when you would never say that to a man. I don't think any guy would say that to a man, like, oh, you own a bakery? That's so adorable. It just wouldn't happen. So just little comments like that, and I didn't really realize them until all of these movements are happening, like the Me Too and all these things. I'm like, oh yeah, that's just normal. All those comments just are normal, but it's not fair, and they weigh on you in little tiny ways in your head where you just think that you're not being taken seriously sometimes, and that's a real shame because it's just not the case. Like, this took me a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice, and I'm really proud of what I've done, and the things the girls are able to do here. They're all so talented, and nothing is adorable about it. It's just a lot of hard work. I truly believe that if you are a nice person and you are nice to people around you, like, people will want you to succeed, like, no matter what. And I feel that from the first accounts that I got, because they knew me and they believed in me because I bought their coffee. Like they were like, oh yeah, you're doing this? Great. But any of the accounts that I first drove to around town, just trying to get more accounts, they didn't know me, and they all said no. So, like, I don't know, having those relationships, like being a regular, gets you really far, because it's unconscious networking, because you're just being a nice person. If you're like a nice person, you go around, you're a regular somewhere, and then they just want to support you because you've supported them, and I liked that, and it was a good lesson for me. And if I ever opened another bakery anywhere else other than Portland, I would want to live there first for at least a couple years, so that people would know who I was and know that I'm a nice person and want to support me, instead of just like, bam, okay, I'm here, let's open another location here. I don't think that would do me so well. I don't consider myself a patient person at all, but I think that I've always put a lot of things on my plate, so I've remained really busy. so I don't think a lot, and I just keep my head down and I work as much as I can. And there's really no thinking about it until now. So I think I look at the spot I was when I was 23, and I feel like I had no idea what I was doing. I was just trying to meet the minimum of what Melissa had told me that I needed to make. She was like, you need to sell these. And I was like, okay, so I need to sell this many macarons. How do I do it? I just went around town trying to pick up accounts, but it was really hard. I don't know, so I don't know though. I just said yes to everything. I said yes to everything, and I would work all night, and I didn't care about sleep, and I didn't care about taking care of myself. I just worked all the time. But I'm happy that I did it because I saved a lot of money, and that helped me open this space. So I guess I'm happy I did it. I also had no idea that the gorge existed and all of these outdoor things existed until just a couple years ago. So I had no hobbies, and that helped me out a lot too. Like all I had was the business, and I didn't care. I tried hobbies out. I tried knitting, I tried going swing dancing, and nothing really stuck. So I just worked all the time. But now that I've found hiking, it's like, now I feel like my time split. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know this stuff was here. Because I'm from Ohio. We don't have stuff like that. So I had never seen stuff like that until a couple years ago. So that was a game changer for me, because then I started wanting more time off. But whereas before I didn't really care, this was my whole life, and I didn't care about anything except for just working. It's funny because people in my life always say oh, I really want to do this, and they never do it. I would say that it didn't seem like a big deal to me to open my own business. It did not seem like a big deal because so many people around me had done it. So people that are scared to do their own thing, they need to realize that most people, or the people that have already done it, can realize it's not a big deal. It is a big deal, but it's not a big deal. Now that I've opened one business, I feel you could turn that into a business. You could make money off of that. You could start a side business of this, that. And I feel like a lot of people don't know that until they do it. And so you shouldn't be scared to go off on your own. There's money to be made anywhere. You just have to have a good idea and want to work to build it. But you have to work for it. It's not going to just be handed to you.